Hi and welcome to DCO. My name is David Capetti and welcome to this Rhino and Grasshopper tutorial. What I'll be doing in this video is sharing with you how I created this design, which are 3 different buildings with bridges that are connected. The design is going to be fully parametric. So I'll be sharing all of the steps here. My goal is to share with you some exercises and techniques that can help you understand how this program works, and so you can use them for your designs. So what I'll be doing here is just showing you, just flying through kind of the space here. This is how it's going to be created, the overall form, these intersecting bridges, and connecting them. So let me show you here under the script. So I'll take this, delete it, and I'll hide this for now. Now we can move on to how this was made. The way we start was with a base circle. So we start here with a base circle, which we then subdivide using a midpoint. We then go on to create a circle here. And so that is the location of the building. It's first the circle. That is going to determine where the buildings are going to be located. Then creating one module, which is the circle, the center point. And then moving on to here, we see that we have this arc that's been created, and that arc is then revolved to create this solid. So all we've done is basically create this dome-ish shape. We've created it at this point, and then it gets arrayed all the way around like this and scaled randomly. So we have a little bit of variety in terms of the size of the building, so they're not exactly the same. Although you can make them exactly the same, you don't necessarily have to make it this dome shape. You can just do an extrusion up and it should work just fine. When we come here, we see the bridge location. So this is where I extracted some points on some of these lines here. And those are going to create the polylines that then create the solids here that create the bridges that go across. So as you can see, it's not necessarily all of it being done at once. There are 2 different elements. We have the domes that are arrayed evenly. Then we have these bridges that are the same size, but we can change the location here. We can change the bridge height if we want. So these are the things that we can change. Now, some of this is going to be a little bit heavy to move, and that's because we're doing a lot of commands at the same time. So what happens here is if I go to 30, you'll see that at the end, we not only have the bridges and the forms, but then we put that together and then use this component called contour to create contours where those 2 solids are intersecting. And lastly, creating a fillet to round off the edges to see where that gets connected. At the end of the day, this was then extruded, and then we created the floors to create the walls, and then these other forms to finalize it. So here we have our final result, which is going to be the walls, the floors, and the guardrail. And it's a simplified form, right? Because I could definitely go in here and add more details like columns, doors, and things like this. But the point of this exercise is mostly to share with you how to use it to create these base forms, and then we can actually take this, bake it, or we'll type in show here, and we can just go in here and add the rest of the details, sometimes by hand, or just having, let's say, a script that creates all the rails at once. So sometimes, functionality wise, you only want to create one task here to create the building, and then you can go on and create further scripts to develop elements rather than doing it all at once, because then it starts defeating the purpose in terms of it getting too confusing for you to understand. So with that being said, you should be excited about using this program. It is so useful and there are so many different ways to use it. I want to share with you all of those techniques. So stay tuned. I do post videos like these every week where I share the entire process, sometimes time-lapse, sometimes I do complete tutorials. So thank you very much for being here, and let's jump right in.